Welcome back for another video. The Expert series is a huge community project of hundreds of FPL experts providing top insight every game week. Some of the greatest FPL managers to have ever played the game, including a bunch of top content creators. Every week we reveal the Experts team before the deadline, and plus we look at their transfer plans, captaincy, chip usage and more. This wisdom of the crowd approach will guide you to better decisions and a better rank, plus win your mini leagues. So if you'd like to follow this series throughout the season, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. So the top experts currently still FPL Koosh, 3 points clear at the top, currently 12.6k overall with 165 points. His rank history includes a 9k finish, 11k, 21k and a few further top 100k finishes. We'll highlight the top ranked manager each game week. Next up, we'll have a look at the transfer activity among the experts. Game week 3 is going to be a very busy week for transfers, with just 11.3% rolling the transfer, 43.5% are making one transfer, 37% are making 2 transfers, and just over 5% are taking 3. One manager's taken a -8 hit this game week. 2.6% have got a chip active. More on that shortly, as we have a wildcard draft from one of the experts. As far as which players the experts are transferring in and out, Game Week 2 was largely Kane to Haaland, but it's a huge spread this game week, and the game looks to be blown more wide open now. Cucurella is the most popular transfer in, with 16.4% of those making a move picking him up. He looks assured for starts for at least the next couple of game weeks, maybe longer. Tuchel cited that he feels he has more rhythm and intensity than Chilwell, who will be used as a substitution instead. Da Silva's the second most popular move, who is on 2 goals from his first 2 games, and he costs just 4.6 mil. We've talked about him in this game week's videos. He is a great pick for the bench, but don't expect the returns to continue, as his 2 goals have come from 0.07 total XG. Diaz scored a wonder goal against Palace last game week and he played the full 90. With Nuno suspended, he looks completely nailed for the next 3 and likely beyond that. If Firmino's the one that fills in for Nunez, it should play into Diaz and Salah's hands. Gross has been brought in by 5.5% of managers, and he's actually top among all midfielders for expected goal involvement on 2.07 XGI, 3rd overall after Jesus and Haaland. Brighton have an eye-catching run of games ahead, so 5.6 mil is a great price for a Neto or Bailey replacement. Bailey and Neto are in the top 3 most sold by the experts. Interestingly, 18.9% of those making a move have dropped Robertson. It's been a slow start from the Liverpool fullbacks, who we know will do well long term. Cucurella, Walker, Perisic among the most transferred in defenders and his likely replacements. A quick look at the chip usage next, including a wildcard draft, and then we'll look at the captaincy and the expert team. Around 2.6% of the experts have the wildcard active for Game Week 3. Certainly this season, an early wildcard's more of an option. In a typical season, the first wildcard might have to last you until beyond Game Week 30, but this season, Game Week 16, we get the unlimited transfers during the World Cup. One manager used their triple captain in Game Week 2, which was Noor. I caught up with him over the weekend. He used the chip on Haaland. His thinking was that City averaged 4 goals against promoted sides last season at home, and he was burnt last season keeping it for the double game week, so he therefore wanted to try something new out. Unfortunate to only get 5 points from Haaland in the end, but he was bang on about 4 goals, which is what he sent to me before the game had kicked off. We also caught up with Milkoy, who has his wildcard active right now. Last season he finished 173rd, and the season before 89th overall. Up there is 2 of the best back-to-back seasons in FPL history. With permission, he has shared his wildcard, which is on screen. He mentioned that Neto, Bailey and Mbeumo will all compete for one spot, and he plans to rotate them into the starting 11. As it stands, Perisic makes his draft. Spurs have a great run of games ahead, and if he starts, his upside is absolutely massive. Onto the expert captaincy, and it's Salah who's top with 65.5% of the vote. In the same fixture against Man United last season, he scored a hat-trick. And United arguably looking even worse now than they did then. Jesus is second with 22.7%, followed by Haaland, Kane, Perisic, De Bruyne and Saka. I had to double check the data of Perisic because that is some shout. Mark FLR is the manager with the armband on him. He's finished in the top 100 before and he has a few further top 10k finishes. I asked him about this pick and his thinking was that this seems like the sort of week where there isn't a standout captain. So as it stands, he's on Perisic unless there's a complete lack of solid information to indicate he starts. Perhaps sometimes you need extremely left field picks to gain ground for a finish like the top 100 in the world. It's going to be a long wait again for the Salah captainers as Liverpool and Man United close the game week on Monday. Best of luck to the experts with the captaincy. If this video has been useful and you appreciate the research for each episode, please drop the video a like and subscribe to support the channel. Thanks for all the support. Onto the expert team reveal. Using their planned transfers, this is the aggregated team based on their highest owned players. The team is as follows. A probable formation shift to a back 5. Realistically, this makes perfect sense. Neto and Bailey were the most popular enablers in midfield and neither have delivered so far. There's very few options in that price bracket that look worth considering, whereas there's a ton of 5 and 5.5 mil defenders representing great value like Cucurella, Gabriel, Saliba and Walker, etc. On the left hand side are the ownership percentages among the experts and also in the overall player base. Trent's still the most owned player, but now on 99% after a manager sold him last game week to fit Jesus in. A good move as it played out. There's now 6 players over 90% owned by the experts with a huge consensus of ownership. Trent, Ward, Salah, Haaland, Jesus and Andreas, and as it stands there's no reason you'd expect any of these to drop, and Martinelli and Cancelo could also join them as 90+% owned. The overall percent ownership is great for identifying players that the experts are hot on, which the overall player base are perhaps largely overlooking. Feel free to pause this section or go back to take a deeper dive because there's invaluable information here. Each game week we ask the experts to offer their insight for the game week ahead. There's always valuable snippets of info here and it's very beneficial to get a broad spread of opinions. My Little Coney says Cucurella has the potential to make a mockery of his price tag. I get that he's a bit of a minute's risk, but how he's performed for Chelsea so far, small sample I know, and adding in the fact that he's on some set pieces, the upside could be huge. He'll join Reece James for a Chelsea wingback double up. Sophia 10 says, I'm really aware about the fan protest before United host Liverpool. This match could seriously be cancelled. Dan Cross says, Kane or Son are due a haul, surely. A cheeky double in the early kickoff for Sir Harold could really kickstart my season. Holly Shan says, I think it's important to keep faith in the Liverpool defensive options with Man United up next. United have just 1 goal this season, which was an own goal. Alexander-Arnold and Robertson are creating plenty of chances, with this fixture ending 5-0 to Liverpool last season. FPL Planet offers a counter-argument. He says, regarding Robertson, I thought you were entitled to lose patience with a 7 mil defender who has no returns so far, when there are cheaper options that release funds to solve other problems. Most have Trent too, so I think it's perfectly reasonable to sell now. Smudgeon says, tough captaincy call between Salah, Haaland and Jesus. Hobbit FPL says, Tony looks like a good option, with Brentford playing well and having a very favourable schedule for some time now. I'm taking a -4 to get him in and switching to a 4-3-3. Hoping that Saka to Martinelli doesn't come back to bite. Chris Butcher says, if burning a transfer helps your team if it's in good shape, then that is the best strategy. I could be doing that this week as nothing's screaming out at me. And lastly, FPL Ronnie says, never pick Dina in the FPL team. He's the biggest troll in the history of FPL. Where were you when I needed you, Ronnie? Anyway, that concludes episode 3 of The Experts. If you found it useful, please like the video and subscribe for weekly content to come all season. Thank you again to The Experts and see you soon for the next one.